You spoke the truth, and their minds couldn't handle it. One snap of your spirit, one moment of clarity, and your words ran through their ears like a force they never expected. If you're watching this, it's no coincidence. Something powerful is happening in your life. You're shifting from wanting to having. The goals you've been striving for, the changes you've been working toward, are no longer distant hopes. They're becoming your reality. This is more than just a change in mindset. It's a breakthrough that will make things fall into place faster than you imagined. To fully step into this transformation, you need to understand how to harness this momentum and keep moving forward. Before we dive in, take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 5,000 subscribers, and leave a comment. Your support helps this message reach those who need it most. If you're ready to face the truth and keep pushing, stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear could change everything. Now, let's get started. There comes a moment in every story when truth steps out of the shadows and becomes more than just words. It becomes a force. This isn't a quiet whisper or a polite suggestion. It's a weapon sharp enough to cut through the thickest walls of deception. When you first spoke your truth, it was like lightning striking a calm sea. It disrupted the carefully maintained balance they worked so hard to keep. You didn't just reveal facts. You shattered illusions that had been built on fear, manipulation, and control. That moment was electrifying. They weren't prepared for it because they had counted on silence, on submission, on compliance. Your words rang out like a clarion call, piercing the haze of lies with undeniable clarity. It wasn't just about what you said. It was about what your courage represented. A break in their control, a crack in their facade. And once that crack appeared, it widened with a force that no power could stop. Think of a dam holding back a raging river. Your truth was the first drop of water that found its way through a tiny fissure. Suddenly, the floodgates burst open. They realized their power was fragile, their control illusory. And as the torrent rushed through, it washed away their authority, their influence, and their ability to dictate what was real. The moment your truth became a weapon was the moment everything changed forever. Silence is often mistaken for peace or agreement, but in reality, it can be a prison. When people around you are quiet, it's easy for others to believe everything is fine, that the status quo stands unchallenged. But silence is fragile, and it can shatter in a heartbeat. Your voice was that snap, a sudden break in a long, tense quiet that caught them completely off guard. Their control, which relied on your silence, crumbled because it was never built to withstand the sound of your defiance. That snap wasn't just noise. It was a powerful eruption of truth that forced people to confront realities they had been avoiding. When silence breaks, it's like the world tilts on its axis. The rules that once seemed permanent begin to shift, revealing cracks and vulnerabilities beneath the surface. Your words became the spark that lit a chain reaction, breaking down the barriers they had erected and revealing the truth to all who had been blinded by fear or manipulation. Control thrives on predictability, but your moment of defiance disrupted that pattern. You showed them that silence can't contain what's burning inside a soul desperate to be heard. Once broken, silence transforms from a prison into a battleground, and your voice led the charge, reclaiming power, dignity, and the right to be seen and understood. They spent years constructing an illusion so convincing that it seemed unshakable, a world painted with lies, half-truths, and carefully curated narratives designed to keep you compliant and invisible. But illusions, no matter how perfect they appear, are fragile. They can't withstand the piercing light of authentic truth. When you spoke, your words didn't just penetrate their facade, they tore it apart piece by piece until nothing was left but raw, exposed reality. Imagine a house of cards built on shaky ground. Every lie they told was like a card, delicately balanced, but waiting for the smallest breeze to topple it. Your words were that breeze, steady and relentless, knocking down their carefully stacked defenses. The illusion they had nurtured with such care began to collapse under the weight of your courage. You didn't just reveal their deceit, you dismantled the foundation on which they built their power. What's even more remarkable is how contagious this collapse became. Others who had been trapped under the same illusion saw it for what it was, and the walls of deception started to crumble everywhere. Your truth didn't just break through your own chains, it sparked a collective awakening, challenging the status quo and forcing everyone to confront what had been hidden for too long. In the oppressive quiet they tried to impose, your words were like a match thrown into a dry forest, a sudden, uncontrollable blaze. The silence they enforced was a weapon meant to suppress, intimidate, and erase your presence. But your defiance turned it inside out, transforming the silence into a roaring firestorm of resistance and revelation. The energy of your truth spread far beyond what they ever imagined possible. The firestorm you ignited wasn't just loud noise or chaotic rebellion. It was a fierce, purposeful force that demanded attention. It unsettled the powerful and emboldened the oppressed. People who had long felt powerless found courage in your example. They saw that speaking out wasn't just an act of bravery, it was the catalyst for real change. The firestorm revealed the cracks in the system, exposing the corruption, fear, and injustice hidden beneath the surface. What's more, fire consumes, but also illuminates. The flames of your truth cast light on the darkest corners of their control, leaving no place for lies to hide. This was a transformation, not just in your own story, but in the collective consciousness. Your voice became the spark that fanned the flames of freedom, hope, and revolution. Their entire system depended on silence, compliance, and the illusion that questioning wasn't allowed. But when you spoke out, it was like pulling the thread on a tightly woven fabric. The entire system began to unravel. Every lie they told, every rule they enforced to keep you down, started to fall apart under the pressure of your undeniable truth. Speaking out wasn't just an act of rebellion. It was the unraveling of a web designed to trap and control. The beauty of truth is that it has an inherent power to reveal inconsistencies, hypocrisies, and weaknesses. When you voiced your reality, it exposed contradictions that had long been buried. What seemed solid and immovable was revealed as fragile and corruptible. This unraveling wasn't immediate. It was a process of exposure, questioning, and dismantling that shook the very core of their control. What makes this moment so profound is that it transforms the victim into the agent of change. You didn't wait for permission or approval. You reclaimed your power by refusing to be silenced. Your words became the thread that pulled down the curtain on their lies, freeing not only yourself, but everyone who had been caught in the same system of oppression. Their minds were like glass, beautiful, but easily shattered by the weight of reality. When confronted with your truth, they could not absorb it with strength or grace. Instead, their fragile mental constructs, carefully built to deny, distort, and dismiss, crumbled under the force of your honesty. This wasn't just an intellectual defeat for them. It was a deep emotional upheaval that exposed their fears, insecurities, and vulnerabilities. The crushing impact of your truth created chaos in their world. It was as if the ground beneath their feet gave way, leaving them grasping for something solid to hold on to. When lies are the foundation of a worldview, truth becomes a weapon that destabilizes not just ideas, but identity. Their reaction, anger, denial, even desperation, revealed just how threatened they felt by your refusal to accept their narrative. What's compelling here is the power reversal. For so long, they wielded control by shaping perceptions and silencing dissent. But your truth disarmed them emotionally and intellectually, revealing that their dominance was built on a foundation as fragile as glass. This moment exposed the real cost of their lies, the loss of their own certainty and control. One voice might seem small against the thunderous roar of oppression, but in reality, it carries infinite power. Your voice was that powerful sound, a force that dismantled lies with its clarity and conviction. It wasn't just what you said, but how you said it. With authenticity, passion, and unyielding resolve, your voice cut through the noise, piercing the veil of deception and demanding to be heard. The truth you spoke became a beacon for others who were trapped in silence. It inspired courage, sparked conversations, and challenged the status quo. Lies rely on the assumption that people will stay quiet, that fear will keep voices muted. But your voice proved that one person's words could ignite a movement, unraveling the intricate web of falsehoods with remarkable speed. History is full of moments where a single voice changed everything, from whistleblowers exposing corruption to activists sparking social revolutions. Your voice is part of that lineage, a testament to the unstoppable force of truth. Walls are symbols of division, barriers meant to isolate and contain. They built walls around their power, walls of fear, control, and manipulation, believing these fortresses would protect them from challenge or change. But you didn't just climb those walls or chip away at them. You tore down entire kingdoms built on oppression and deceit. Your truth was the wrecking ball that reduced their strongholds to rubble. This wasn't an easy task. Kingdoms, whether literal or metaphorical, are maintained by systems designed to resist collapse. But your words, your courage, and your unwavering resolve became the unstoppable force that dismantled those structures. Each lie they used as a brick was cracked. Each rule enforced as a chain was broken, and every tactic to keep you down was turned against them. The imagery here is powerful because it shows that true strength doesn't always come from brute force. Sometimes it comes from resilience, clarity, and the refusal to accept injustice. You became the agent of demolition, a force that reshaped the landscape and redefined what was possible for yourself and those who followed. Plans built on control and deception are vulnerable to chaos, and your words were wildfire, spreading uncontrollably through their carefully laid schemes. Wildfire is fierce, unpredictable, and impossible to contain once it takes hold. Similarly, your truth spread quickly, igniting minds and hearts, burning through their defenses and setting ablaze the foundations of their power. The power of wildfire lies in its ability to reach far beyond its origin. Your voice wasn't confined to a single moment or place. It traveled, connecting with others who had felt the sting of lies and silence. As it spread, it became impossible for them to ignore or suppress. The plans they crafted to maintain control were consumed by the inferno of your words. This image of wildfire also captures the uncontrollable nature of truth once unleashed. No matter how hard they tried to douse it with fear, punishment, or denial, your truth continued to blaze, lighting the way for a new reality. It reminds us that words once spoken have a life of their own, a power that can't be contained or reversed. It might seem like just one moment, one brave word spoken, or one action taken, but within that single moment lies an unseen strength that changes everything. Defiance is more than rebellion. It is the embodiment of hope, courage, and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Your moment of defiance was the quiet revolution that shook their world, revealing your inner power and the potential for transformation. This strength is invisible to those who rely on control and fear. They see only the surface, a voice raised, a boundary crossed, but they don't grasp the years of struggle, pain, and preparation behind it. That one act is the culmination of countless small choices to resist, to believe in yourself, and to reject silence. It's the spark that lights the fire of change. Defiance isn't just a personal victory, it's a beacon to others. It says, you are not alone. It is possible to stand, to speak, and to change the narrative. That unseen strength creates ripples that extend far beyond the initial moment, inspiring movements and shifting realities. What terrifies oppressors more than anything is not strength of arms or numbers. It's an unbreakable spirit. Your spirit was their greatest fear because it could not be caged, silenced, or destroyed. No matter what they did, building barriers, spreading lies, or threatening harm, your resolve remained steadfast. This indomitable will to speak your truth made their power fragile and their dominance precarious. An unbreakable spirit is a force of nature. It defies logic and fear, pushing past pain and doubt. They tried to break you because they understood that once that spirit is free, it becomes a wildfire impossible to control. Your courage challenged their entire system, exposing their vulnerability and triggering their desperation. History shows time and again that oppressive systems crumble when confronted by people whose spirit cannot be broken. Your strength is a living reminder that true power lies not in domination, but in resilience and authenticity. This is why your spirit will always outlast their control. Truth doesn't just speak once, it echoes. It reverberates through halls of power, across communities, and inside the minds of those who seek to maintain control. This echo is relentless, haunting, and terrifying to the powerful because it refuses to be silenced. Your truth, once spoken, became an echo that resonated far beyond the moment, shaking the foundations of their authority. The power of truth's echo lies in its persistence. Lies are often fleeting, easily forgotten or replaced, but truth lingers. It grows louder with time, reaching new ears and inspiring new voices. Their world, built on manipulation and control, relied on a shared belief in lies. When you refused to accept their version of reality and spoke out, you cracked the very foundation of what they thought was unassailable. This shattering is disorienting and powerful. It forces people to question everything they believed, to confront uncomfortable truths, and to reevaluate their place within the system. For those in power, it's a crisis of legitimacy. For those oppressed, it's a moment of awakening. Your words didn't just disrupt, they rewired perceptions and changed the trajectory of lives. This is the transformative power of truth. It doesn't simply add to the noise, it destroys falsehoods and clears the way for a new, authentic understanding. You didn't just participate in a conversation, you altered the very fabric of their reality. There's a sound that echoes in history, the snap that signifies the breaking of chains, the moment when captivity ends and freedom begins. Your truth was that snap, resonating far beyond your immediate circle. It wasn't just about your liberation. It was a call to all who were bound by silence, fear, or oppression. That snap shattered their chains, not just metaphorically, but in a way that reverberated through their entire system. Breaking chains is never easy. It requires immense courage, resilience, and an unwavering belief in justice. Your moment of truth was a declaration that you would no longer be held captive by lies, control, or fear. It was a liberation both personal and collective, inviting others to find their own voice and strength. This snap became a symbol of revolution, a reminder that even the most entrenched systems can be broken when enough people refuse to accept bondage. It's the sound of transformation, hope, and unstoppable change echoing across generations. What starts as a single voice speaking truth often sparks a revolution, a profound shift from suppression to liberation. Your journey embodies this transformation. Where once there was silence and fear, now there is action and hope. Speaking truth isn't just an act of courage, it's the foundation of every revolution that has ever changed the world. Suppression relies on control of narratives and the silencing of dissent. But truth breaks those chains by exposing reality, inspiring solidarity, and galvanizing movements. Your words became a rallying cry that moved beyond personal defiance to collective empowerment. It's a powerful reminder that revolutions begin when people dare to speak, to question, and to refuse submission. In the end, the power of speaking truth lies in its ability to create lasting change, to rewrite stories, reclaim identities, and build new futures. Your voice is part of a legacy of resistance and transformation, proving that when truth runs wild, it changes everything. There's a hidden power in truth that most don't realize until they experience it firsthand. It liberates. For years, you might have felt trapped, not just by external forces, but by internal doubts, fears, and the weight of unspoken words. The moment you decided to speak your truth, those invisible chains began to crack. It was a liberation that started from within, a release of the burden you never fully understood you carried. This liberation is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it begins quietly, with a single thought or decision that sets you on a path toward freedom. But once that spark ignites, it grows rapidly, transforming your life in ways you couldn't imagine. Suddenly, you're no longer shackled by silence or fear. You're empowered to reclaim your identity and your voice. Their control depended on your silence, but your truth became your key. With every word you spoke, you unlocked a new part of yourself, a version that had been hidden, denied, or suppressed. This newfound freedom wasn't just personal. It sent ripples through the systems designed to keep you in place, shaking foundations that had seemed immovable. Liberation through truth is a radical act of self-love and defiance. It means refusing to live in the shadows and demanding space to exist authentically. And while the journey can be painful, it is ultimately triumphant. Because once freed, your spirit cannot be chained again. Most battles are fought in plain sight, but some of the most crucial conflicts happen in the invisible spaces between perception